Hey, what's up everybody? Michael here for the M3 Creative Studio. Now, anyone that's ever met me for 5 minutes knows I'm a huge advocate of chasing your dreams and really turning your passion that you have in life into a career and hopefully a business that you can just make money doing what you love in life, regardless of what it is. And the more creatives I've met and more people I know, it seems that there's a less of a blueprint or route to doing that. So what I want to do is share my story with you about what I went through and how I got to where I am, where I'm living my dreams every day of being a professional creative.
Dream Supply.
It starts back in 2000 when I moved to Atlanta from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I was 20 years old. I didn't have any responsibilities or anything, so I took a chance and I moved here. And even when I moved here, I had no idea what my life was going to become. Shortly after moving here, I got a job at Blockbuster. Some of you may be too young to know what that is, but people used to rent VHS tapes, and that's where they did it. One of the people I met, his name was Sean, and Sean had a professional CD with a barcode, and he was pursuing music. And up to that point in my life, I've never met anybody that was doing music or had anything like that. And I was just so intrigued and so impressed by it. So I was just like, hey man, I don't know nothing about music, but I would love to help out any way I can. So I kind of fell into this manager role, and I was doing research on music copywriting and publishing and marketing and promoting artists and things like that. And we got to about 2004, and Sean was on his way to work one morning, and he heard about this opportunity that the biggest morning radio show was looking for interns, and the way you had to submit was write a letter why you would be the best intern for their show. And it was literally like writing a handwritten letter and then actually mailing it. So I get to the radio station and I'm waiting in the lobby. They bring me into this conference room, and there's Ryan Cameron, it's his morning show, and then everybody on the show was in there, and then other employees from the radio station. And all of a sudden the nerves kicked in. I'm like, you start hearing these people talk, and it's like the people that you hear day in and day out when you listen to the radio, and all of a sudden you're sitting in the room with them and you're like, shit, this is serious, like this is really happening. So we go through these questions, you know, and one of the things that they said stood out the most was the fact that I went in there and I said, I don't have any alternative motives or anything like that. I'm not trying to pursue any other careers. I really think you guys have like the coolest job in the world, and I'm just here to learn and help out any way I can. So after the interview, I go downstairs and they call me on my cell phone. And they're like, hey, we think you forgot something up here. Can you come back up? So I hadn't made it to my car yet, so I turn around, I'm checking. I'm like, no, I got my wallet, I got my phone. I didn't go in there with anything else. And I walk into the room, and they throw this plastic bag of white powder up on the table. And they're like, this was in your seat when you got up. And I was like, no. I said, no, that's not mine. That's not mine. So all of a sudden, it wasn't but 5 or 10 seconds before they just started bursting out in laughter because it was a prank. But right then and there, they offered me the internship. My first week there, I got a chance to meet Ciara, who happened to be the first celebrity I ever met. And if we go back and look at the picture, you could tell because I was incredibly cheesy during that time. And she was promoting her first single, Goodies, and it was super crazy. That same week, I met Tyler Perry, and I didn't even know who he was at the time. It was like his very first movie promo, which, you know, it's crazy when you think about it, because the same thing happened. That's where I met John Legend, his very first album. He came into the studio and played the piano live on the air, and I was like, I've never heard of this guy before. Now, super duper huge successful artist. So it really puts you in a position to meet and learn a lot. At that time, Atlanta radio personalities were celebrities in their own right in the city. I mean, they had access to all of the clubs. They interviewed and talked with all the celebrities, movie stars, music, icons. So it was like you got to tag along and be a part of all these different things. And I started working and handling some of the radio promotions. And Ryan, I mean, like, this dude is a fucking legend. Like, you don't even realize it until like you go out with him. And I remember there was this time we were going to a Destiny's Child concert, and I met him at Phillips Arena, and we go through this like weird backdoor entrance. Obviously, it's for important VIP type people. I definitely shouldn't have been there. All of a sudden we get to this door and it's like, oh, there it is. The concert's already started. Everyone's in their seats, and we go to like somewhere between the 10th and 15th row. And we're sitting there and they're finishing up a song, and then all of a sudden they get to this piece of their performance where they bring 3 guests up on stage and they perform and sing the song Cater to You to those 3 people. To my surprise, Ryan, which now I think was pretty planned and he knew that was going on the way it all played out, but Ryan's called up on stage and Kelly Rowland sings Cater to You to him. And then literally he comes off the stage. After that, we stay for about another song or two, and then we go out, and that was it. It was like we literally went there for that, and that was it. And it was like, I was like, these people live a different life. Like, it's just unreal to me. Just to give you an idea, this role of being an intern for Ryan, I mean, this is a role that Ludacris had at the very beginning of his career. He was an intern, then he was a radio host, and then a rapper and recording artist, multi-platinum, and then a movie star. So Ryan's cultivated a lot of greatness in his life, and he's the key to the city, at least here in Atlanta at the time when I was getting into things. I had this insane schedule. I was working 4 to midnight to pay my bills, and then I was going to the radio station at 4 a.m. to noon doing my internship, which was not paid, but obviously it was pain and experience, and it allowed me to build like these incredible relationships and have these incredible stories to share with my kids one day, and just going through it, because it was life in the super fast lane. Like, I did this internship for like a year and a half, and it seemed like it was over in no time, just because it was like you didn't have time to think about like, oh, it's 2 weeks. Like, 2 weeks goes by so quick because you're constantly occupied with things going on, different events. One of my faults is I'm a super loyal person, and I didn't really understand the dynamic of what was in front of me and how to utilize it the best of my ability. My thing was, I'm going to work extra hard and be dedicated to Ryan and his team, so that way hopefully I can work myself into, you know, maybe a permanent job or something in that facet, because at the end of the day I just wanted to be a part of his team. I wasn't looking at it from any other angle, but that's not how it works at all. Actually, during my time there, Ryan's contract ended with Hot 107.9, and he ended up going to V103. And that's when it really kicked into me, because when he went to V103, he didn't bring any of his morning show. It was a completely new staff, new producer, new co-host. You know, so Ryan moved on, and it was kind of like, okay, what do I do at this point? And I have all these relationships, and it didn't play out the way that I thought it, or wanted it to, I should say, what I was hoping it would do. But it also gave me the fire to start to do things on my own.
No sleep, no rest, night crash, right.
Hey, thanks guys for checking out Dream Supply Part 1 of my journey that covered me being an intern in radio. We're not gonna say how long ago, it just wasn't yesterday. But yeah, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And next week's episode will be all about my days as artist manager and promoter and networking in the music industry here in Atlanta. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And until then, keep the dream over everything. Ciao.